What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And welcome to another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome. Hello, 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 beautiful people.
Now, don't forget, there's about 6 weeks left to order our book, Real Life, Real Love, all right? If you're in a relationship, you're single, there's things that's going bad in your relationship, or maybe things going good. Definitely pre-order the book because you can see all about our relationship. We talk about everything. What we've been through, how we met, how we held this thing together for 27 years, married 21, from insecurities to forgiveness to right fighting, you name it, we talk about it. So please pre-order the book. And the reason we're telling you to pre-order the book is because everything that's going on in the world, they're having a shortage of everything. So there's not going to be as many books available when it comes out. So if you pre-order it, you get your book ASAP, all right?
Yes.
So now this next podcast that we're about to get into, I wasn't there for this podcast. They kicked me out. They didn't want me there.
You didn't want to be there. Stop lying.
And I didn't want to be there.
He said there was too much estrogen in the room for him.
Way too much. So let's get into that podcast. It's Gia and her girls. Check it out.
What up, y'all? This is Big Body Ben.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome. Hello, beautiful people. I have brought my gang with me today. We are at Mercedes' new crib that we've told you guys about. So we kind of wanted to show it off. We decided that we were going to do a pajama party. And I said, you know what? Why don't we make a portion of it an episode of the podcast? So you're going to catch an earful of us just talking the way we typically would at a little pajama jam. So listen up and catch these little tidbits. So I'm glad that you guys are here. First, I'm going to start by introducing everyone from this end. This is my friend, Heather. Woo-hoo. You guys already know Ben. This is Chilka. She has been on a previous podcast. This is my beautiful daughter, Madison, that you guys have never met. Never met, right? No, that you guys have never met. I'm just proud because I made her.
And 5 others.
A little help from Rashawn. This is Ingrid, which if you guys watched a couple of podcasts before, you guys know. And this is Will. Will is my children's godmother. So we're going to start by talking about everyone's relationship status. So that as we get into this conversation, you will know kind of where their love life lies. So Heather is currently single.
Single. Ew. But no, you know what? I like that she said that. Because yes, and so single by choice. That doesn't mean there's any shortage of suitors and situations.
Yes.
But I'm single. I am not betrothed to anybody.
Yes. So today I'm calling Heather, I got this.
Yes.
And I'm calling her I got this because she is a very empowered woman who, as you guys will hear later, takes her life into her own hands and makes her own decisions without a man having to be a part of it.
Hello. That introduction was actually nice. And since she didn't call me gorgeous, beautiful, pretty like she did. She made up for that. I'm not true.
I didn't make you. I didn't make you. Okay. Then we have Ben, who is, let's just say she's in a long distance situationship.
Oh, God.
Right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
Then we have Chilka, who is married with 2 beautiful babies. And I think we'll call Chilka, I give, but I don't get. Hit right here.
One sentence.
And that's not even necessarily in her marriage. It is more so just in life. Because anyone who follows Chilka on Instagram can rely on their daily dose in her story of some type of meme that insinuates that she's giving more than she gets.
That's facts.
Then there is my daughter, who is a student at NYU. And let's call her, for today's intended purposes, a student of life.
Yes.
because
best
she's
Living her best
obviously
life.
the
The best
she's
life.
the baby in the group. So she'll take our stories as her own personal cautionary tales.
True. What not to do, right?
More what not to do,
Right, more
less what to
not to
do,
do.
right? Okay. Then we have Ingrid, who since the last time that
Oh,
she
no,
has
Ingrid.
visited and blessed your TV screens or AirPods, she hasn't quite done a 360, but her situation has improved. So we'll call her the 180.
Hey, we take that.
Okay. And then Will. Will is married, but her husband is abroad in Abuja, Africa.
Hey.
Yes, and he's having trouble getting over here, which we can talk about. So we'll call her long distance keen.
That is not what we discussed.
I just came up with that. Okay.
No. It was abroad. I can't.
Or we could call you dying for some. A or B. A or
She's
B.
in trouble now.
Does this make it to Africa?
Will this make it to Africa?
Yes.
Africa has YouTube.
They have YouTube.
Africa has YouTube, right?
Yes.
Just tell them about it.
Definitely listening in Africa to this.
Yes. I would think so.
They
You're
are.
gonna try real hard to make it over here after that conversation.
I don't know if I'll be married after this. You will. Stop it.
Hold on.
It's like 50.
You will.
You will.
You will. Will.
You will. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So, since we have Maddie here, I kind of want to start by talking about the thing that the single ladies in this group are talking about in our own private conversations. And Madison, I kind of want to start with this because we talk about this when we chit chat, and we talk about this when we chit chat.
All the time.
I want to know why everyone here thinks that in today's day and age, it's so difficult to find what we all kind of broadly call a good man. Rashawn and I have talked about this on the podcast. Benz, you and I have talked about it, and we all have our own views.
Yeah.
But since it's the group of us, I kind of want to know what everybody else thinks.
I'm glad you said a good man.
A good
Yeah.
man.
Because a man is the easiest thing to find.
Yes.
That's the
But it
fact.
goes with, I think right now, right before you had to make more of an effort, right? Like there wasn't internet.
The
there wasn't
man
social
did.
media.
The man
The
had to
man
make
did.
more of an
Yes.
effort.
Right.
Now
So
we just.
to woo a woman or to get her attention, they had to work harder, right?
Mhm.
Where here it's more like swiping and liking and throwing little tidbits.
You
here
can
and
know all
there.
about a man
Right.
and from his Instagram. Because
Right.
if I see something from 105 weeks ago,
Right. There was more of a mystery back then, right? For us.
I didn't
And we
see
had
it.
to actually work hard for it
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
And so like you get to know the person personally versus what their Instagram story is.
Mhm.
because Maddie, I know you do Snapchat, and that's a way of y'all communicating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us about that, because I don't even
No,
understand that.
they snap away.
They snap,
Right.
but they snap
I don't
weird
use Snapchat
pictures.
anymore. But with Snapchat, it's not a lot of communication. It's more so just
Thank you.
trying to help you.
It's more so just sending pictures back and forth, and in that you're having just short, quick conversations. What's up? What are you doing? But it's nothing deep or personal, and you can't get to know somebody by asking them every day, "What's up? What are you doing?"
The 20-year-old would do that, and the 36-year-old does that too. So there's really no difference.
Snapping?
Well, not snapping, but what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah.
The W.
Hey, what's up?
WID. They don't even type it out. It's just WID.
I didn't snap because it would go away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What was we
They don't
talking
even
about?"
try to do anything about it. Like we're doing, I'm home by myself, relaxing.
End of conversation.
Oh, okay.
Right. Why do you care?
That's it.
And that's it.
Exactly. Why do you asking?
That's what I'm
matter.
saying. Why? What
Yeah.
are you doing if you don't give a shit what I'm doing? Period.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like ticking a box.
Yeah.
Like I need to
check
reach
in.
out to her today, so I'm just going to check in.
Right.
The check-in. That's
How
what it's called.
do boys communicate now? Is it FaceTime? Like if it's not Snap, what is it? FaceTime? Is it texting?
Just like texting and FaceTime sometimes, like if you're actually kind of close with the person, but
Mhm.
mainly just like texting.
Do you find that boys your age court now?
What?
I don't know what that means.
What? He said what?
Out. They want to open the doors. They want to like make you feel great. They want to like.
She said what? No. Period. That's what she said. No.
In a word.
No.
But you know why?
Like, what is that, right?
From the grown men, the big brothers, the cousins,
The uncles.
the daddies, and the uncles.
Mhm.
So if the big man ain't doing it, these
Then
little boys ain't
little
doing
ones
it.
ain't
Probably not the daddy, but maybe the young uncle.
Yeah.
The brother, the cousin,
brother, the
maybe not the
cousins.
daddy. There's a couple daddies, but not all daddies. Some of
Not
their dads is 36. Like,
Well, that means that they didn't learn anything. That
No,
were
they don't
supposed to
know. There's none of that.
So,
Or they do it in the beginning.
what is your expectation?
I have very high expectations because I see how dad treats you and how you and daddy's relationship is. I don't want anything that's not that. And so many kids my age or around my age, they are nothing like that because I think that so many girls my age are willing to settle for a guy that doesn't treat them right. So
Yeah.
it's easy for men to give the bare minimum and still receive what they
She's
want.
speaking to my soul.
that's
Literally what's going on.
So, how do you find the strength to not find yourself in those situations, though? I know what your example is, but how do you still find the strength? Because a lot of us have examples of things that we would like to achieve, but don't have what it takes, don't have the wherewithal to do it. An easier word would be the willpower, because it's kind of like, your man hangs up on you, bangs on you.
You calling back?
And you sitting there like,
I'm not calling back.
you sitting there like, staring at your fucking. Hold on. Is he going through a bad area?
Why do we make excuses? We make excuses.
You make excuses.
For everything.
And we don't want to think that they will do that.
And when
At
you
all.
dismiss
There's no
all of the
way.
excuses, what do? You pick up the phone and call him back.
You don't answer? Oh, he probably trying to call me.
Me back. So hold on. Let me wait a second.
Let me wait a second.
And try again.
Right.
I don't know why we do it when we do
So
it.
you guys need the mic.
I said, but why do we accept that and why do we do that? Because we want a response out of that person and we want that love from that person, but we're not getting it.
Well, I love the question that you asked her though, because I feel like I'm slightly a product of that. Fast forward 20 some years. I had the most amazing parents that really truly loved each other, that raised us in a family of just our nuclear family. I had great examples of aunts and uncles that all were married and best friends whose parents were married and grew up in a community. So then fast forward, I moved to the big cities and I go to work and then I'm looking for this existing within my dating life. And it's just not, them pieces not hitting. And I'm like, okay, so I'll wait. And I have a mindset, like, I got this. I have a mindset. I will wait forever before I settle.
Ooh.
So when you talk about willpower, is finding that home and that peace and that everything in yourself so that you're like, if that means I never find that in a mate or a partner that gets to that standard, and it's not money and it's not looks, but if I never get that other piece of it, then it's okay because we're whole here.
Ooh.
But it's hard because you think like, I want that. My parents had that. Why would I not have that?
So I had this conversation with my friend a few weeks ago. I think, like, with me growing up, right? Not growing up, but as I got to the age of marriage and so that, not only just my culture, but in general, I feel like society set us up, right? Like back then. So you got done with school, it was time to get married, have kids, do that whole dream relationship world, what society wants you to do. So I feel like now there's not that pressure anymore, right? People are chasing the happiness. They're not settling. They're chasing their own personal
Or the bag.
happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Or the bag, or like just living their best lives, right? So
Hold
they're
on.
not
Leave it up to Benz to be like,
the
what a
bag.
bag.
Listen,
What a bag.
Listen, the check.
that check. But that's your happiness right now, right? So there's not a societal expectation that you're falling for, where I'm like, I totally got set up by society. Like I fell for it. I fell for the trap. And now I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Or
You
we
know what
just
I mean?
kind of career, like we
Right.
put our head down and was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
this
gonna-
ain't clicking. Well, let's
But that's
go and
gonna
get
click.
all the
Right.
money.
But that's what I'm saying,
because
right?
something gotta click.
Right. But you guys
Clickety clack. Make it, the math ain't mathing.
You guys have to talk into the mics. You guys have to talk into
didn't
the mics.
fall for the societal pressures
Yeah.
that were potentially given to like
But I don't even think it's
Did
societal.
you stay in your hometown?
no, I get the hell out of there.
I feel like that's how I escaped it. I left
100%,
my
because
hometown. If I had stayed in my hometown, I'd have been
Yeah.
married on my second or third marriage. I know.
What is the second or third?
But I also feel like leaving my hometown, like I tell my friends all the time, you're not going to find people that are still living where they went to middle school, high school, grew up in. They're not going to find their person if they haven't already in that
There,
same town.
yeah.
Right? They have to move out, branch out, and find that person somewhere else.
Yeah.
So Chilka, you said here. For you, what is here?
That I'm here
Mhm.
after societal pressures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did I see myself in Jersey?
What's wrong with Jersey?
Right.
I mean, my plan was to be in New York for a little bit, move to Atlanta, and then I met my husband, moved to Jersey. Do I think if I didn't have the pressures, would I have gotten married at the time I did? Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have kind of waited a little bit longer, really kind of done me first before I got married? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But not only did I have the societal pressures, I also had the cultural pressures, right? So in my culture, you know, you get out of school, you get married by a certain age, you have kids by a certain age. So on top of all of that, plus you have societal at that time, and I'm 40. I will say it.
You did.
So I sure did. So I think if I hadn't kind of gone with what everybody else wanted, I may have waited a couple more years, done what I wanted to do, and just kind of, you know.
Do you
take my time.
have regret and or resentment?
No, I don't. I don't.
Disappointment?
That's a hard emotion for me. And we've talked about this recently, how that's the one emotion I don't know how to process.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think, and I actually did this poll on my Instagram maybe like a year ago, and the responses I got, I was like, oh wow, like I'm not the only one. Do I think I married my soulmate? No.
You know this is public, right?
Yeah.
We're like in the public domain.
But I guarantee you, if you ask like half of your friends, they're in love. They love their partner. They're in love with their partner. They have the great life with their partner. They see their future and how they're going to raise their family and their, you know, their future plans in line. But do I think I married my soulmate? No.
You think he's still out there?
Do you believe in soulmates?
I do.
Had,
But I also believe the soulmates don't have to be like your physical, like your partner, right? Like, doesn't be your husband or like somebody
okay.
like your soulmate could be
It could be your friend
It
or
could
your
be your
daughter
friend,
or
Right.
your
It could be
And
anything.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Benz, push that back before it ends up on your beautiful new road.
You're right.
Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like I
I'll do
have
list.
friends that I consider
Word.
soulmates for sure. Like,
You do.
no matter what,
Mhm.
right? And now, like, with everybody using the word energy and, you know, vibes and all that stuff, like,
It's true.
everything's about energies, right?
It's true.
I feel like even now, like, I'm closer to people that I met a year ago versus people I've known 20 years.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's people in my life for a reason and they're sticking around for a reason versus other people that are now exiting.
That connection thing, though, I'm like
Yeah.
slightly over people saying that.
What?
We just had a connection, like especially the younger people.
Okay, first of all, I said that. I recently
Hold on,
said
wait.
that. Hold on.
She said that over the crew deity.
First of all,
to the crudité
the crudité. Now that
that's over
I
there
know.
on her counter that she so graciously provided us with before we started tonight.
Things aren't right, and it's not right, and he's really crazy and treats me really bad, but we have a connection. It's just so deep in a friendship.
So you're saying that connections are overrated.
Let's break it down. It's infatuation.
Break it down, Heather.
Ooh. Wait, it's what?
Break it down, Heather.
It's
She said it's
infatuation. It's lust. It can be obsession.
Oop.
It can be attraction. It can be neediness,
It could be need,
desperation.
desperation.
It can be a whole list of things that people have. It can be old fucking bullshit ass patterns.
It is.
Your traumas attaching to someone else's traumas. And now we just have the best connection. But girl, he went outside your head. Like, or whatever it is. It's like, and I have too many friends staying in too many situations and a lot of them are new too. And you talk about this connection. Okay, well, there ain't no connection if there ain't no respect.
Ooh.
I cannot. My energy cannot connect.
But it does.
Where there's no respect.
But I know, right? Ingrid. But okay, hold on. But it does.
You can have lust.
Yes.
No,
You
we
can
can have
be
attraction.
No, but
you can love him down. But for me, there cannot be a connection where there is no respect.
No, but and
My
we
spirit
know
won't
that.
allow me to connect.
We know that mentally, physically, spiritually, but
We're also
we're all
grabbing
want
onto
what
things.
we want when
Right.
we want
Right,
it.
but do we
And
feel like
that
the word
clock-
connection gives you a pass to take bad behavior?
I don't
No,
think
I-
people understand the word connection. They'll use
No.
it
Yeah.
how they're comfortable with.
Right.
Like in their mind, they
Right.
understand it,
Right.
but it's not always a correct definition of it.
So you think
right?
it's the misuse of the word
Yes.
and the slutting out of the word.
Well, that could be
Yeah.
any of the words. That can be love. That could be
Fair.
how, how you feel about
Fair.
anything. But
You're feeling very, very defensive about the word.
Her body language too. She's like,
friend, hold up.
I mean, we overuse love and like and
Because the connection, like you do feel. I did. I was like, okay, that's enough. And she was like, but I will not.
I had all those
I will
feelings in 5
not.
minutes.
Meanwhile, there's people watching this. They're like, first of all, ho, I disrespected you, okay? And you still dated me. And I'm like, I've grown.
That's the thing. But it's true because when is enough, right? You said that before. We learn, but do we really learn?
Wait, hold on. I need a minute for that. I need a minute for that.
Like she lying.
Hold on. Did Heather just say that there's mother truckers out there
Yes.
that are watching her right now talking
That's
about,
good.
I disrespected you, ho.
In the comments. They in the comments right now.
But-
Heather, they can't type fast enough.
But you got
They
all
comment.
this talk
They
right
comment.
now.
There might be like 6 men with the hands.
Or the eyes. Or the eyes. Heather, is that you?
Listen, nobody. We grow.
You know the eye look.
I grew.
We grow, but do we really grow? Because we
Where she
being
come from?
seen. Who is her?
So wait a minute. Give the mic back to Will. I want to ask a question.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
So,
Well,
so hold
pointed.
on. Watch how I do
Pointed.
this. Watch how I do this.
Oh.
There was a connection
Wow.
between something that Heather said and something that Will said.
I thought she was coming for me too.
Yes. Heather is basically saying that women are now prone to make excuses for men for a myriad of reasons. Excuses, need, desire, lust, infatuation, blah, blah, blah. Earlier, Will was saying that we settle.
Oof.
And why do we settle? You both are saying very comparable things. So why do you think that women are so likely to settle and men aren't? Why do you think we're the ones that are calling back when we get banged on? Why are we the ones that are taking disrespect when the man isn't receiving disrespect?
Right.
Why do you think that we're always the ones with the short end of the stick? Why are we so low on the totem pole?
Because we're trying to catch up to everyone else. Everyone's in a relationship, so you want to be just like that other person.
But everyone is not in a relationship.
Correct.
Now.
Right now. But you look around and you see all your friends. For me, I'm in my 40s as well. And I was always looking around like, oh, she's married. She has kids. And I'm still in the same situation. And I'm like, what's going on? Like I have a couple friends who are in their 40s. Why am I not in that same situation where I'm getting married? Everyone decided, okay, right after school, I'm either going to marry the person I was dating in school. I'm going to go back home and marry someone that I used to know just because there's
Societal pressures.
the pressures
I think it goes
from
way
your
back to what
families
she
or
said.
from whoever.
It's culture.
Like,
Whoever.
or
Of
they're
this
like,
generation.
It was
wanting
at that time for us.
family.
It's
Correct.
culture of this
At that
generation.
time. Right.
Right. That's true.
so even when I met my husband, who was my husband at the time, and I was 40 when I met my husband, he said, wait a minute, you've never been married? You have no kids? Like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? Or,
Why do you always say what's wrong with us?
yeah, they either say, what's wrong with you? Or, you know.
It's the idea that if you were so amazing, someone would have snatched you up already.
Correct. Correct.
Let's just call it what it is.
Or they go right
when
to,
people,
they say that.
When men say that, that is what it means. Like, how
So
are
something
you
wrong with
still
you.
single? You got a dose of crazy in you. That
I'm like, oh, you're
I
being
Should
dumb,
we
but-
talk about something?
these 40-year-olds are single too.
What, the men?
These men are
Right.
But that's,
But
and
they
hold on,
know.
I'm going to be honest,
But
that is
no.
9 times out of 10 by choice.
By choice.
By choice. Exactly.
By
They don't
choice.
want to be
They
married.
don't want to be in no
With
relationship.
our female friends, it is more than likely not by choice. Most women want something different, but for some reason, it hasn't happened for them. And I want to talk about what
Her
that,
generation doesn't do that.
for what reason is
Oh, that's
today. You
I
understand
mean,
what I'm
one
saying?
could be work too. I mean, that's a lot.
I won't ever blame work. I've been successful in my career, but I won't say that work is the reason. I was never so stuck on my career, like, oh, I'm going to be this hard career woman. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to do all
That
these
was
things.
me.
And until I've done that, then I won't marry it. It's
Oh, no,
not
that you won't.
I wanted those things, and I didn't want to regret not doing those things because I had a family or resent my family because of it. But she hit the nail on the head, and I don't think it should be looked at so negatively. Like I'm not an old maid or a spinster.
Right.
I chose. I could easily be married. I will name you.
Yo,
She said, don't
Don't
come for me.
Don't at me.
Don't come for me.
I will. I've gone ring shopping. Like I could be married. I could have submitted a little. I could have submitted a little bit. I
But it
could have.
goes back
that word is
Right.
like
There's
cringing.
nowadays
Yeah.
people
Cringing.
choosing
Submissive.
their own happiness.
But when she said men choose
Right.
to be single at 40,
Not all men,
Right.
but I firmly believe most
Right.
men, if they are 40 and single, it is by choice.
Right.
I could name 10 men that I know that are eligible
Absolutely.
bachelors between the age of 35 and 42 that have chosen and that are happy. And that at my birthday party, I pulled one aside like, hey, what's up with you? Like, because he has a niece that he adores.
Mhm.
All over his social media is his niece. He loves this little girl. He's braiding her hair. He's
Mhm.
taking her to the circus. They're playing tag in the front yard. He's amazing. And we've been friends for a long time.
Mhm.
And I said, I know you were dabbling in the, with the ladies for a long time. Like now he's probably 39 now. And I said, you're not interested in settling down? At this point, I would have thought that I would see you, in a relationship that's on a trajectory heading towards marriage. And he's like, yeah, nah, it's just I got a main chick and I got about 2 or 3 other chicks.
See,
And
commitment.
it's fun.
Commitment
He
issue.
said the main chick gives me everything that I need. She's a little bit older than me, so she gives me like a motherly feeling. So I go over, we watch our Netflix. She cooks for me. She rubs my back. She does
Why
everything
would he
for me.
want to?
He's like, then I got, the younger chicks that I'm just having that sex me down.
that's it.
Right.
He's
That's
like,
it.
I have everything that I want.
Right.
I
So
have-
why would he want to settle
Wait,
down?
but
with
Hold on.
one-
It would be, I would think, because he would want children. And he said, I have my niece.
Yeah.
So
No.
you're not going to find too many women. There are some, and I have a few friends that are that way. Ingrid was once upon a time
She
Um,
sure was.
a woman
She sure
who
was.
did not really identify with the idea of being a mother.
Yeah.
It was not one of those things like, I have to be a mom. I want to be a mom. At some point in my life, I'm going to be a mom. I can't see
But-
my life without children.
But I have a question.
Okay.
Do you feel like you are kind of doing what we talked about, like sitting around waiting for your Prince Charming to come and save you? And do you believe in that?
I'm not going to be saved.
I know. But I'm just saying,
She's
for
like
your
J.
generation-
Cole.
She was like, no.
Absolutely not waiting for nobody. I'm living my best life.
She don't want to be saved.
Right. Don't save her. Yeah, do you feel like that?
Like what we're talking about, like what I said earlier about the cautionary tales. Do you see, not just you, but you and
Girlfriends,
or
yeah.
your generation feeling the same way that our generation feels or felt?
Not at all, actually. For a lot of people that I know, marriage isn't something that they're really looking for. People aren't really looking for kids anymore. And no, it's the truth. A lot of like my friends say they don't want kids. And for my generation, hookup culture is very big and a lot of people are participating in it.
Define hookup culture.
Meeting people and then having a good time and then going
What's a good time?
Because when we were younger,
When we
the
hooked
word
up
a hookup
was
more like
nothing.
making out.
Yes. Did y'all go all the way?
like having sex. Like, well, it depends on like the person, but like for the way I'm saying it, it's like sex. That's what a lot of people are participating in now. And for that reason, I feel as though people aren't really looking for like long-term relationships.
And Maddie,
They just
is
want
it
to have
fair to
fun
say-
or try.
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
fair to say that you guys will still go to the movies, you'll still go to the club, you'll still do whatever with that person if you feel like it, if you want to, but there's no expectation of like exclusivity.
No.
So it's like, we can still have fun, we can still hang out, we can still date, we can still do other things, art museum, whatever, but I could also do that with him. I could do that with her. And but it's
There's
just
no
yeah.
strings attached.
Options.
No
So
out
you're getting
there.
everything from
Right.
whoever in the moment.
So you find that your girlfriends aren't looking for exclusivity?
It depends. Some of my friends are, yeah. But others are not. They're just trying to, like, especially New York City, everybody's just trying to have fun. Go out, have a good time, meet him, and do whatever I want. You can't do that when you're in a relationship. And a lot of people in their early 20s are just looking for a good time, for a fun time. And they think that you can't have a good time or a fun time when you're in a relationship.
It's like YOLO.
Exactly.
You only live once. Let's live our best lives.
Exactly.
Well, you don't get invited everywhere when you're in a relationship either.
No.
Yeah.
As a you know,
But it's typily compensated for.
Yeah, you don't need to go out because you have a good relationship.
The joy.
I miss it.
Right?
You can speak on this. You remember when we were club kids and we were hanging out.
The good old days.
The good old days. And it wasn't that long ago when we were running the streets and these parties and things. And you know, when you were single, then you could show up to half the parties and go to any of the tables. But once you had a man, it was like over. Right.
It was over.
They stopped.
That sentence?
They stopped
Over.
answering your calls. Like you want to come to the club, and God forbid you came and brought him.
Wasn't that a trade that you would be more than happy to make?
Well,
Depends.
so I speak for myself. I dated a lot of bad dudes. Like, not bad in the sense like, you know, drug dealers and killers and street guys. You know,
We hope not.
Wait.
no, but
What?
but they were just, you know, I wanted a relationship. I was looking for love. I wanted somebody to love me. Maybe it's because I didn't love myself enough. You know, I don't remember enough the 23-year-old me. You know, it's, you know, almost 15 years. So I dated, you know, guys in the industry, and I was out and I was a cute girl and this and that. And he loves me. He took me with him. And but
Pick me.
Don't do her.
Right,
Don't do that.
but that's what she was. No, but that's how I felt. That's what it was.
No, I'm saying it. I'm saying that, and I'm saying it like that because it really is that pick me mentality that we have
Right.
graduated from.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's that he took me out with him.
Right.
He showed me
I was in
off.
public. He showed me
And
to
that
this
took me out
person.
in
Right.
public.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's the current day he posted me.
The current day.
But listen, but listen, I'm current.
You know,
But
it's
listen, I'm
relevant on the gram.
talking. I'm talking non-Instagram.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking
Right.
right.
It's the equivalent.
That's what Heather just
It
said.
was-
That's
it
the
was-
equivalent.
It was right. Correct. So I was dating so many of the same dudes and it wasn't going anywhere and I was just exhausted and I was wasting time. 8 months here, 6 months there, a year and 2 months. Like, oh, I was doing small bids. Yes. And it was wasting my time. So the year that I said, fuck this. I'm going to date Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm going to play the princess role. I'm going to let them buy me, do this. Because I'm always like, no, I don't need it because I want to be independent. I don't want to be like the girl that he was with 2 nights ago, probably, that was taking. I wanted to be the girl that, I got the bill. I got this.
Oh God.
I wanted to
Been
be
there. That was my line too. He was like, "What? You'll pay for a bill?"
But listen, no,
Remember,
listen.
you're like, wait,
let me
I
tell
thought
you.
it was.
Wait.
know me. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's not about the money.
No, I know.
It's about being courted. It's about being courted. It's about a man treating a woman like a lady.
But you try to
That's
be
what it is.
different.
It's
You try
not.
to be
But you're
different.
trying to be better.
I'm like, oh, I'm not like these other chicks out here. I got this
broke
bill. I
bitch.
got money.
I got this.
Now, but I'm sorry. We don't lose your thought. I'm just because if
we point at
because with Ben's, she was in a situation where, somebody could have done a lot for her, right? And we discussed those potential things that could have been done. And when she asked me, if he offers, should I accept?
Yeah.
And I said, no. You do not accept simply because it's offered.
Boss like, nah, go get that. He did. I was like, word, boss,
hold on,
word.
but boss also has occasional bird mentality. So we can't go with what boss says
That's right.
all the time.
Fair
You
enough.
understand
Fair
what
enough.
I'm saying? So again, it's not about the money because you don't have to spoil me to court me. I don't have to take just because it's offered. But at the bare minimum, if we go out to eat, you should treat me to my food and my drink.
Let me not feel like I gotta come out of my pocket.
I go for the thing that's harder to get. So to me, if you've got no money, but you have a ton of time, then and you spend your money
a
on
lot
me,
of time, me no money.
hold on, that's what I'm saying. You don't have any, you have a lot of time and no money, but you're offering to spend all this time on me. Well, that doesn't feel as special as you going in your pocket because that's harder for you. Right. But if you have all the money in the world and it's the easiest thing for you to do is to take me to dinner, throw me some flowers, buy me a car,
Right.
then I then it's the time.
I don't want the time.
Then it's
Wait a minute, what's going on over here? You were stretching?
She was looking to you. Then it's the time and the effort that's worth more.
Absolutely.
Right.
So Ingrid, continue.
I lost my train of
No,
thought.
you said you about to be outside paying these bills. Go ahead.
Oh, so yes, I wanted to offer. I wanted to be different. I dated this guy years ago. He needed $500 to fix his car. And what do? I got you.
Next thing you know, he gonna need help.
Next thing you know, he's like, oh, I'm going to pay you back in 2 weeks. I'm going to pay you back in 2 weeks. Homegirl over here, you did what? You tell him you don't ever, so I had to hound him
For your
for my 500. And when he gave it to me, he never called me again.
Wow.
Petty.
There's some
Petty.
there's something
I did you the favor, but I tell you one thing.
you were his girl, so he didn't expect you to ask for it back.
But listen, it gets better. I tell you one thing. I never let nobody know money unless I'm getting interest. Fast forward, I'm dating my current man. The very beginning. In my head, I meet this guy. He's attractive, cool vibe. In my head, I'm dating Tom, Dick, and Harry. He's Tom. I still got 2 more to go.
You got thicker hair.
I don't got them yet. This is top of the year. 2017, January, top of the year.
put a year of tax season.
Listen, we out here. I'm in these streets.
Streets.
So I'm thinking, this is what I'm gonna end up doing. I'm gonna be dating guys. I end up dating the same motherfucker up until now. In the beginning, but listen, but wait. But listen. So now there was a situation that we had to borrow money. No, when I say we, I don't mean me. but we are we today.
Okay.
He back then he was a he. He had to borrow a couple dollars. When he was a he, but I liked him. I loved him. He brought me food. He loves me. He took me out, and I met his best friend.
And you know that's big.
You what?
Because there's levels to this.
And Heather can attest. We went out. We were somewhere in Harlem. This man came. We wasn't even hanging out with him. We was just she and I. He came to see me before he was about to hit the town. We did a little makeout session. That was little makeout session.
That was their hookup.
He left.
That was the hook. No, that was the hookup.
That was the hookup.
That was her recording. The hookup.
Listen, that was a quick little. Listen. He went what he was gonna do. She and I, we hung out. At the end of the night, he came back for another little makeout session. So I thought
he came back.
Yes.
Don't worry, because I'm
Listen, I was like,
I thought she was in the control. I didn't know. I told her.
Listen, so he was doing things like, he was not giving Dick and Harry a chance.
Period.
Anyway, back to my story. He needed money. And I was like, how much you need? That's it. However, when I get it back,
Tell the story right.
Gia told you to say.
I need interest. Am I going to use the actual number? Yeah.
You can use a percentage.
He needed $400. And I said, you need to give me back $550. In 3 months' time. Because if I wasn't getting my money back, it was over.
But y'all was in a relationship, right?
Not this
we was dating.
You guys weren't exclusive at that point?
No, I think we were.
You were exclusive
But we
at that
were
point.
exclusive, but it was like very
No,
new
you were definitely exclusive at
But
that
wait,
point.
I think you used that example or on one of the other podcasts when you were talking about when Boss charged you for DJing his party or something.
Yeah, so
was that
so it was my 16th birthday.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it was way back.
No, I was 16.
Guys.
No, it was.
I mean, like when they were first.
It was my 16th. It was my 16th birthday.
Like in the beginning.
No, charged you?
Wait, what?
No.
For this
changes everything.
The father I know. She was disgusting.
My best friend to pull her phone out.
It was my 16th birthday.
Right. Yep, I remember.
And I rented a club and I was having a party on Jamaica Avenue in Queens and I was charging people to come in.
Yes.
So I was making money and Rashawn DJ'd and yeah, he asked me for a fee.
That's what I'm saying, but
He said, listen.
But
he's like, give me a little bit of I see you making that coin.
So it was foul and I almost broke up with him because of it. I paid him his money, but I also needed him to DJ. But that was probably one of the first times that we almost broke up.
I
And
remember.
then,
That's what I think I remember.
then he turned around and bought me $1,000 present.
Right.
To make up.
To make up for it.
To make up for it. But let's not lose sight of the
With your
fact
own
that
money.
he definitely tried to come up off
The
of
money
me.
that he Hey, it's
So
business.
he's always been ambitious. He's always been a hustler.
He always been a hustler.
Okay.
He a hustler.
But I want you. What happened when you called me?
I'm getting to that. So I tell Gia, as always. So this is what happened. I did this, I did that, and I told him this. And now the time came and I got my money plus the extra that I asked for. And she told me to give it back. Give back the extra. Yes. And I said, fuck that.
I know that's right.
And I kept it.
that. Didn't give up
I kept it. And I kept it. But you know what? I like
that idea though. I like that mindset.
And
give it back to
the today me. Listen, the today me, because my 180 isn't just my relationship. It is me as a whole.
Period. Yeah. I feel you on that.
You know, so the me then was like, nah, fuck that. I deserved it. I earned it. I've done too much for too many guys and got burned because
so
of
I'm
it.
collected from everybody.
And I collected from
So now
him.
you're gonna pay all of them.
And he sure did. And that was foul. And I should have given it back.
Can we have a quick question? Like, how do you guys feel about lending men money? This has now come up twice.
Maddie, no?
No. Mm-mm. I did it in college. And I remember how I felt. I just remember, and this guy totally just needed it in the moment. He totally had it. I totally got it right back, but it felt bad. And I didn't like the way it felt. And from then on, it was just like, if I help out, if I give you, my mindset is just not to get it back. But
the crazy part is it feels a little powerful though.
It feels what?
Powerful.
It never did for me. I felt taken advantage of.
I mean, younger me too.
Yeah.
It's more like, you need me type of thing. So I dangle this.
Oh,
but
wow.
But it doesn't make sense to the older me, because younger me, I was like, I'm out here dishing out all this money. Like, oh, I got it. And he's taking. And then he run off.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? But it felt powerful because as a woman, we're like,
so if I was single today,
that.
I'm not lending no money I'm not willing to lose. How much you need? How much you need to and you know, when you say men, it leaves it open to a friend. But if we're talking about men that we're just dating, probably not. I don't got it. Matter of fact, you need how much? I need twice that much.
I'm not even telling you I don't have it. I'm just no.
I ain't got it.
Just no. I'm not even telling you because I got it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I don't got it.
So now, if he were to challenge you and say, "Well, why?" Because it's obvious that you have it.
It's my money.
And he may not say it's obvious that you have it, but it's
I'll say I don't feel good about it, and that's that.
So wait, hold on. I'm gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
I'm gonna be the guy.
I like that.
What don't you feel good about? I'm your man.
Oh, wait. Are you my? No, if you're my man,
if you're my man, that's different. We're talking about single. Because if he's my man,
if you're my man, we're building towards things. I'll know why you.
But listen,
I'll know why you ain't got it.
So now, so now,
we're just dating.
So now,
messing. You asking me for money? No.
Yeah, he's my man.
Hold on, let me be said man. Because we're messing around. We're intimate.
Yeah.
For how long?
We're hooking up.
No, but for how long? That's important. How long?
How long do you need to be? How long do you need to be?
Okay.
It has to be at least 6 months.
So we're hooking up for 6 months.
Wait, what, Maddie? What?
If you are not going to be my boyfriend, I'm not going to give you money. Why am I giving money to a hookup?
Would you lend money to a friend?
A friend?
No. Not if she can't pay me back.
No.
See, you would lend money to a friend, but not someone who has seen you naked.
No, I would lend money to a friend who I know isn't just using me for money.
Right.
Like I have friends who, like, it's not tit for tat. Like, okay, you need this here. All right, I know you got me later. Like,
but Maddie, you made a great point. You're not courting me to be my man. You're not asking me to be my boyfriend.
Right.
Or your girlfriend, you're asking me for my money.
Right.
I gave the man hours of my time for that money. So I don't have to give you an explanation. The answer is no. If you are my man,
So is that what you would say if he asked?
Yeah. If we're just hooking up.
Hold on, so I'm going to be said man.
Okay.
So I'm in a situation where I need something and I think that you're in a position to help me.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you?
Because I don't feel good about it.
But why wouldn't you feel good about it?
Because I don't feel comfortable lending you money. We don't have a relationship that dictates that I feel comfortable lending you money.
What would it take to dictate that? I'm a good person. We've been seeing each other. I've seen you naked. I can pay you back. And I can, like I said, I'm promising to pay you back in 45 days.
You see, now I'm gonna...
Now you're buckling?
I'm not buckling.
Okay.
I'm not buckling.
You're feeling pressured.
But right. And my personality.
Now she's turned.
Now you mad.
Yeah, now
Right.
see, even though she's not a man, now I feel my face. getting
Yeah, I was
red.
saying you said it.
I feel
She
my
said
face.
it.
And I'm not even the actual man. I'm just said man.
I feel like my back's
Her heart's palpitating.
That really, it's funny how I'm not in that situation, but I started to feel those things, and it made me so uncomfortable.
That's why I actually
that I
wanted
was
to do
getting
it.
ready to turn to my other side. I was like, and don't ask me again. Like now I'm mad.
Now I'm mad.
I feel so uncomfortable, and it's probably a trigger back to when somebody did ask me and didn't pay me back and took advantage
That's the
of
thing.
me.
I want to understand why it's such why it triggers those emotions. Why is, because you said like you didn't feel good about it, whereas Ben's in the same example said that it empowered her.
Yeah.
And everybody else might have a different emotion attached to it.
For me, it feels like I'm being taken advantage of. For me, it feels like you're using me.
What if you were absolutely confident that he was going to pay you back?
Then that feels like maybe someone I trust. It feels like there's maybe more of a friendship and not just a hookup. And as a friend, I would lend a friend that I trusted and I felt would pay me back.
If I asked you to lend
Yes,
money,
yes, I would.
You were
lend
living.
money. I would. And she made a good point. I have friends. I have a few friends that I've lent money to that have promised I'll pay back, and never have. I'm not asking for it because there's a good chance I'm not even giving it back if I'm looking for it back. Or it's like when I get it back, it comes back great. But I also really believe in karma and paying it forward. There's been people who I get blessings from someplace. Like I got promoted yesterday. I seriously, I make a great amount of money. I don't have any children. Like if you need something and that you had to humble yourself at this age to ask me for that as my friend, then yeah, it's different when there's a friendship. I've paid you in pussy. And you've paid me in penis. And that transaction is
equal.
It is equal. Fair exchange, no robbery.
Fair and even exchange.
Fair exchange, no robbery. She's blushing. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Fair exchange, no robbery.
Right.
But I'm glad you said it because I like to self-therapy. Like I felt it in my body. And
No,
you're
I
not
saw
even
your face.
You saw it in my
I was
face.
like, girl, you
I was like,
I felt the heat coming off of
She
your
was looking
body.
like
so rarely,
I'm about to.
so rarely out of control. I'm so
And
rarely,
I was composed. I was nice. I didn't even really challenge you. It's just the idea. And that's the reason why I wanted to ask you and kind of get to the bottom of it. I also kind of wanted to know if it was the chivalry thing, you're the man, so you should not be asking me for money.
Right.
I thought it was more like the male-female relationship. That might have, but that's also I wanted to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. Less of that, more
Because a lot of women feel that way. Like, I'm the woman, you're the man, you're the provider.
Right.
For you to ask me for money emasculates you and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
But what if we're making more than them?
Yeah. So
well, a lot of men will feel emasculated by being with a woman that earns more than he does.
And that's not my
that's
circumstance. My mother always made more than my father. She was physically taller than my
I
father.
remember you saying that.
She
Yep.
was black. My dad was Italian. So those types of gender roles never permeated me. And I'm really grateful for that. So I've always dated people who I felt like were my equal. Maybe not financially, maybe not physically, whatever it is, but there was a connection.
A what?
A connection. A connection that existed beyond things that were superficial. Things that were, like
a real connection.
There was a give and take. There was a give and take that of equalities there. So that's interesting is that, but for me, just digging into it, it really was, I feel like you're taking advantage of me. I'm being used. And that could be anything. I'm being used for sex. I'm being used for money. I'm going to be, and it's just, you think about the thing that you have and you're like, okay, you're using me for that. And it felt uncomfortable. It's like, why do you want to take that from me?
But I think that your ability to earn also empowers you. So when someone asks you for a piece of that, that's probably what triggers you. When you say, I don't know why it triggers me.
Like giving away my power?
Giving, not away your power, but what your power has afforded you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Like, you are empowered by your intelligence. For me, your success. For me, what I find, your ability to communicate.
Yeah.
These are,
you just sliced all of that in that moment. I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to give you my money. I don't know what to say. I'm sweating.
But when someone asks you for that of what you earn, that might be your trigger, because it might tell you, okay, you're using me.
Yeah.
So it may be a trigger. It may not be that he's using you at all. Maybe he just
needs help, and he knows I can
needs help in a particular situation, and he's asking for it. But that's how you react, and that's how it's a good way to kind of look at how our personal experiences, our lives, how we were raised, who raised us. All of these things contribute to who we are and
That's true.
how we react to situations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you said you felt powerful. My bad.
That's all right.
No, yeah, that's good.
Right? Like, you felt powerful. At what point does that powerful feeling turn to now like resentment and like, all right, well, what do you?
The older me.
Okay.
The older me. So now, yeah.
You would go more towards what Heather's saying, where you don't want to give the money out. You don't.
No, I'm not giving no money out because I don't got it.
You see all this?
See this? I ain't got it.
You see all this? You see them chandeliers?
This is my money.
That's that.
Chandelier the shit out of
You saw these chandeliers?
Call it a chandelier.
But I also say, why are you in the position? Why are you asking me?
Right.
Like, what have you done that put you in a position that you have to ask me, and maybe ask me constantly? Why?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a question I would ask her. So why do you need this money? And why are you asking
How many
me?
people did you skip past? You didn't ask your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, your best friend, your
came
kid's
to
mama.
me. No, you came to me.
You came to me.
But usually the person that you're sleeping with is the person that you're.
But hookups and relationships is two different things.
Well, are we talking about both situations, or are we only talking about?
okay,
And I'm
so
not calling this a hookup. This is someone that you're with for 6 months. So at the very least, it's a
Wait, Ingrid.
relationship. Hold on.
Ingrid.
It may not be exclusive.
Situation.
It may not be exclusive, but it is a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you're with somebody for 6 months, it's some type of relationship.
But wait, Ingrid,
let Ingrid to sleep with for 6
But hold
months,
on.
you should be good enough to give him some points.
No.
Wait, say that
But wait,
again?
hold on.
Go through all the other people first.
I was saying,
What'd you say?
If you're good enough to sleep with for 6 months, you should be good enough to give him some coins.
No.
Well,
hold up. Wait.
Hold, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not talking about my feelings on any of this. I haven't talked about my
Wait
feelings.
Wait 1 second. Hold that. So Ingrid, what were you saying?
So Jason asked me today to borrow money. It will no longer be borrowing money. I'll just give it to him. We're in a relationship. We have a kid together. It's been 5 years.
Right.
That's a difference.
But it's a partnership.
It's a partnership, yeah. And it's taken a lot of work. It's taken to regain trust, a lot of therapy. But yeah, we're partners. So there's no longer like
Interest?
this.
Wait, what?
I'm still waiting for him to charge me interest for something.
I was really taken aback when she called me. I remember
She was so disappointed.
I was going through the McDonald's drive-through when she told me this, and I'm like, "You're charging the man interest?"
Right.
She said, "Yeah." I said, "And he agreed?" She was like, "Well, he needed, so he got to."
That's all I heard.
That was that. Yes,
But that was the pain coming through from when she got stuck with the $500 and probably all the other guys that have done her dirty in the past. It was bubbling to the surface, and Jason just caught a stray.
Yeah.
You know, that's all that it was.
It is different, right? And same thing with my husband. Like, we both share our money now because it's a partnership. Where if I was dating somebody, 100% I would not give anybody my money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You said no. Did it not start that way?
No, it did. In the beginning, it was.
So you're
a
always
partnership.
sharing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's the type of relationship now, right? So if you're just dating somebody, hooking up with somebody, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
Anything could happen. Right.
Sure.
And like Heather said, once you kind of give to somebody, it's up to you and your own mentality to say, okay, they said they're borrowing it and it's a loan. but in your head, you're just giving it away and you're not going to get it back.
Because you're not expecting to get it.
Right.
Well, my
Which also is not a great situation to
No,
feel, right? And that makes you feel
I'm
pain.
waiting on my money.
Right.
You went and got your nails done.
And now you see everything that they're doing. You be like, oh, but was that my money?
That's going to ruin the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, that's going to be the one what causes quit. Like even just now, you're about to end this friendship.
I can't.
What's
Right.
It's supposed to be over
It's about
between
to
us,
be
Heather.
over. But wait, I have a question.
But even with the guy with the $500, it wasn't that he didn't pay me right away. It was the fact that I didn't hear from him after I gave him the $500 to use. It was the fact that he was in Florida. Only
That's what I
because
said.
I
When
saw
people,
his
you start
Facebook.
seeing people doing.
It validated the fact that I got taken.
Yeah.
So now I got punked.
Now there's no trust.
I got. Like,
Yeah. Period.
we were fucking.
Yeah.
And
awesome. That's great.
And
No, we're gonna leave it in.
but now it's like, you felt comfortable enough to ask me for money, and you knew my personality.
That's what
You
I think.
told me
That's
it was
that
your
part.
car-
No
and you knew my
personality.
personality. It wasn't that you tried me or you were just pussyfooting around the topic.
Right.
You know but that's the whole thing. You knew that chances were she gonna help me out. I'm in the jam.
Ooh, but that right there, that personality
But were
thing.
you upset on why he used the money or what he used the money for?
So
Does that dictate how you feel?
absolutely, but it was also perspective because I saw that his car was fucked up and that he needed, and it was like the deductible, the $500 that he didn't have. So it was the insurance, right? So it could have been that he used it for that, but then how all of a sudden you in Florida, you doing this, you into where is my money?
Oh no. Well, that's the
So-
worst thing.
When you see
When you
people-
lend somebody money
and you see them,
and now
when
your
you
money
see
is
them-
supposed to be circling back to you, and you see them buying a new pair of sneakers,
Right, and
taking a trip
now you
with
living.
my
now
money.
you living.
No, well,
Now
in that
you living.
situation, you absolutely
Now you
got
living.
played.
Mhm.
The way that I feel about lending, because I didn't share my opinion, I was just listening to you guys' opinion. If you feel comfortable enough to ask me for money, I feel like you should be comfortable enough to ask me to be your girl. If we are hooking up,
everything goes back to that.
The partnership.
if we are hooking up, if we are in a 6-month situationship, regardless, if we're just having sex and we're not exclusive, then there are so many people on that line that you should have asked to borrow
That's what
money
he said.
Right, but
before
not me.
me.
Why
That's part.
Call your mama.
Call somebody else because you are not my man. Like
Right.
we are not, I'm clearly not that important to you.
Mm.
So you should go ask somebody that's a little bit more important to you.
Right.
But to your point, now if we're in a relationship, yes. It's not
Yeah,
even it's because I already know you. I know it's not frivolous. I know what it's for. I know what it is. I know we're there's a commitment here.
See where the, go ahead, baby.
I also feel as though it devalutes you because it shows that you are willing to do relationship things without
She's
having
what?
to be in a relationship.
Don't look at me.
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
Don't look at me.
I was listening.
So proud.
She said what? She said what?
She's her mother's daughter.
I said it just shows that you're willing to do relationship things without actually having to be in a relationship. So why would they ever put you in a relationship?
God
That's
forbid.
That's a
That
great.
was the
Yes.
our mama used to say,
Right.
the cow
Yeah,
got
get-
milk.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can
Why?
you
No,
can
it's
leave it.
actually why buy the cow?
No.
It's why
Why
buy
the
the cow
cow
if you get the milk for
Or you
free.
can leave the cow and he can drink the milk. Something else.
Oh, you just made it a whole.
I mean, Maddie's like, I don't know nothing
But
about
a cow, milk, but I know that. I'm not doing that. That's what I know. So, question: expectations in dating. What's your expectations in dating then? Just
dating.
yeah.
I have very high expectations, which is why I don't have a boyfriend or anything.
But when you are dating someone, what would you expect?
Respect, loyalty, exclusivity. I just want someone who's going to treat me as well as I'm going to treat myself. So if you're not going to do that, then it's not going to work. I see how well my dad treats my mom. If you're not going to treat me like how my dad treats my mom, I don't want it. And I have enough respect for myself to not settle for anything. That's not.
And that's what it is. But a question.
Yeah. Do you think because Maddie's 20?
One.
20.
I was like, wait, what? Okay. Oh, well, my bad. Maddie's 21.
She's my bad.
Listen, Generation Z.
Wait, you know what? Bring it back and just don't say her age.
Yeah, my
Because
bad.
she's in her 20s.
My bad.
I'm just saying.
It's fine.
Like, don't.
Yeah.
Because the parents are going to get the backlash.
I can't. But the pressure, real question.
In your
Because
early 20s.
she is in her 20s.
Because she's 20. Go ahead.
Okay, because she's 20. Whatever. She doesn't have that pressure and she can have that mindset where I'll just speak for myself, at 36, it's a little bit more like I'm going to get what I can get, especially because I want a family, thinking about freezing my eggs, all that good stuff. But do you think the mindset is different because of the age? Or, I mean, because I don't feel like I'm like
You're
devaluing
also
me
not
or...
settling.
No. I don't want to settle. And don't get it twisted. I don't want to settle, people. But I do want marriage and kids. And I know that there's a biological time clock too. So I don't want to say I'm taking whatever's thrown at me, but
that biological.
no, it's real.
No, it's real.
It's real because you have X amount of eggs because I done went and your egg count goes down. And that's real. And I want kids by a lot.
So now, explain the women who are having kids in their 40s.
I don't know what they doing, but I just know how many eggs I have.
Naturally.
They might have just some golden eggs. But think about it, they're also in relationships, right? I'm talking about
Not being okay.
I'm just saying like right now. So I'm back to the mindset. Do you think that that's why? Because I believe everything. I believe everything Madison said.
She said.
Wait, she has time.
Have that mindset.
Right. But like she
I'm
said,
sorry, but wait,
a lot
what's
of
the question?
people aren't looking for kids in her generation either.
Right. So she can,
it's not a
the things that
rush.
Maddie said, I value. She said, she respects herself and she's not going to expect anything less than that. I think the same, but I'll be like, I guess I'll let that slide.
But you have
And
the
I might let this
pressure.
slide.
Because you feel that you have
Because
the
you're
pressure.
not.
Yeah.
She doesn't have
You,
the pressure.
right. You feel that crack and that pressure.
Yes.
She does.
And she doesn't. So I miss that part of me. I do.
Right.
I miss what Maddie just said. Like I miss that part of me because that is the free and the innocence of I'm a bad bitch and I deserve what.
So you feel like you didn't have a chance to
at this age.
prioritize.
No.
Right. And
Yeah.
right now
No,
you don't
she
have
had a
to.
chance. She's saying that she had that attitude or that outlook on life for such a long time. And now she's in a situation where she can't necessarily afford to have that outlook. Because if she has that and she's as selective as she wants to be and as picky as she wants to be and gives herself what she feels that she deserves, she may end up over the hump, over the biological hump.
Mm-hmm.
And she fears that she'll be on the other side of the timeline that allows you the ability to be able to look forward to a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby.
Right. But like I've told you, I think Gia's told you, I think like everybody's told you, right? There's things that nobody's going to be perfect for you, right? No matter what standards you have, no matter what you're trying to find, there's always going to be some type of compromise.
Right.
But what I always told you is don't compromise on things that are so big in life, like kids, like locations, like things that are so important to you, where you're like, I'm so in love though, maybe it's okay. Like that kind of stuff is what's going to break you down the road. Right. So
the compromising,
like big compromises, like children, like, like big things that are so close and dear to you, all because you think you're in love or you are in love. You don't want to let those things go because it's going to end up being resentment, hate, not even hatred, but like resentment. You're not going to be happy. You're going to feel like you settled. Like you did your part out to them.
That's what it is. That's how you feel at that age. That's how I felt at this age. I feel totally different at this age. It pivots and it changes and circumstances take you to where you are. You can have whatever you want. You have the rest of your life to get married. No, you don't have the rest of your life to have kids. And you're taking the steps to align yourself with that. But you have the rest of your life to get married, but you also don't need a man to have kids. You know, we have an idea of an ideal. And my question then is back at Maddie, because I think I have a little bit of the princess syndrome, is that I had the most amazing father, and I really admired my parents' relationship. So if it ain't that, like you said, and I don't want it, okay, well then you ain't getting it. And what was, people, you talk about like daddy issues and stuff, and I don't think I had any of those. Then they start saying, okay, well, mommy issues. And I'm like, well, I have mommy issues? Like, what is it that if I had this perfect example and I didn't have any reason, I'm an attractive girl and I'm a smart girl and why could I not always I got attention? Why did I not get married?
But it's not always you. It's the guy too, right? Like men also, I feel like now we're more intimidated by women having the career, having the confidence, finding the happiness.
But it took me this long.
No, I'm gonna say it's a long time.
Right. When I was her age, nope, not enough. Nope, not enough. And for you, it's even more difficult.
Right.
Because my dad was a little bit, he was cool, but he wasn't your dad kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, it's possible to have a husband who's successful, who's attractive, who's a family man, who dotes on his family. Like, there's a lot of, like, your pool of men to be able to... Yeah. And it's just even that does all these things. It's like, if you believe what statistics tell us. Now, if you say to yourself, that is a unicorn, I am a unicorn, we will unicorn together, it might take more time. But then what happens when you wait that long and you're 36 and then you're going what she's going through, and then you're 43 and you're going what I'm going through, and then the men try to tell you,
yes,
you better start settling now. Well, you better start.
You ain't getting nothing else.
You ain't getting no younger. The stock is going down.
The stock going down. I hate that. That's the worst.
Hold on, excuse me.
They definitely say,
going down?
yes, they'll definitely tell you that your stock is going.
It's to convince you to do what they want.
Hold on, a man has someone actually said that to you, that your stock is going down?
They didn't say your stock. They said, well, as women age, your stock goes down. But men, as we age,
our stock goes up.
And I said, you're
look at you.
I said, you're
it's true.
It's true. That's an archaic way of thinking, because what happens is
you just have old balls
when young
and they hang lower.
That's the mindset of young women looking to date older men with money. But it's not that way anymore. These young girls are making their own money, and they don't want your Dragon Balls. Okay? The truth is, women's sex drive goes up in their 30s and 40s.
Hello.
And some men can't get it.
Oh, sorry.
Still over the inside.
It did. Hello.
And some men can't get it up in their 30s and their 40s.
Absolutely.
And I'm a woman who has openly dated younger. Like, so to say that is a man trying to convince himself and everybody else, it doesn't have to be that way. These women don't need, they're not dating their granddads anymore because they're like, well, he's got money, it's security. No, I'm going to get it on my own and I'm going to date whoever I want.
There are a whole host of sugar babies out there.
Yes.
And aspiring sugar babies.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I believe that it is a huge part of our culture right now that men have their choice. Mm-hmm. They say it's hard for a woman to get a good man. It's not hard for a man to get a good woman.
No.
It is easy. There is a plethora
and when they got one
of good women
they don't know what to do with
out there. And they could have 5 good women and just can't choose because they're all so good.
Right.
Exactly. One is better than the next.
So why choose?
If I can have them all.
Which kind of goes back to my friend that I told you that I was talking about. He's like, I got these, I got one for every color of the rainbow. I'm happy. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So could we be happy?
Right.
Because I like the rainbow.
I definitely like the rainbow.
Could we be happy? I grew up in a 2-parent house with my one sister. I do long for that to a degree. I'm ready to just me, you, the kids.
Same. Just hello, fairy tale.
Can we just find our shows and our brunch spot and
what you and boss do.
Someone I just like someone to do my day with too. Like, all right, so we go to Home Depot. We might
hello. It's us. It's us. That's all I want. That's it.
I hate that there's this impression of me that I don't need a man.
Same. I need him. I want him.
But not any old him. And I will wait forever.
But see, and we differ just a teeny bit. Because you caught me because you said you will wait. I will wait too, but
not forever.
Not forever.
I feel like I'm fulfilled enough. Like I have enough company with good men. I have enough friendships. I get enough sex, honestly, that I don't, that my needs are being met when I decide to have my child.
Wait.
It's going to be.
So why don't you decide to be the person who's okay with the nieces and nephews and doing all that stuff and possibly, having your own and just having good sex and good time.
No, it's not. That's enough.
No, it's not enough.
That's not
it's not enough because she wants everything.
That's a good person.
I have truly, and I say this, and I swear to God, this is true. I have truly found happiness within myself. If I can't have a kid,
and it shows.
It definitely shows,
and it shows.
And I've literally gone almost to like blows with people trying to convince me that that's not the case. Well, you would be happier, and you would. Okay.
Oh.
Yes. I think that anything that comes, I'm blessed to have my friendships. You all are additions to my life. I love you and I'm glad that you're here. If you weren't here, I would still be happy with Heather in Heather's life. I have lived an amazing life. However, do I want children? Yes.
And you don't need a man to have a child.
And do I want a good man in my life with a strong back and cute face? Yes.
It has hung like a horse.
I want all of that. I want it all. I would love all of that. But I don't need it so much that I will accept just anything. These things. And that comes from when I was a little bit older than her, being in a relationship with a man who had money. He had looks, he had education, he was Mr. Everybody wanted him at heart. And then I thought I was done. At 25, I was done. Moved to New York, I was done. We were going to renovate the brownstone and live in the house in Queens, and then we were going to renovate that and rent it out, and then And he was abusive. Mm-hmm. He was mentally and emotionally and then somewhat physically abusive. And I gained 60 pounds and it changed everything. And I was like, okay. So then I got fearful of relationships and fearful of men. And then I just got stronger off of it. And then I had other relationships in between. And I had a relationship, I was in my mid-30s, and he wasn't ready for kids. So, okay, then I guess we're not having kids right now, or we're not there yet. And then I just pushed my timeline even further back. At 38, I saw a doctor and I was like, hey, I think I should freeze my eggs. Because nobody believes me when I say this. I saw myself having like 4 kids, a husband, like everything. They're like, you? Like, we thought you were Sex in the City. Like, so. Samantha, Blanche. So then it's like, okay, fast forward, now here we are, 38. He's like, no, not freezing. Let's just do the thing.
Do it.
I'm like, well, I gotta have a kid.
Oh.
He's like, don't freeze. And that was bad advice. That was horrible advice at 38, especially for me because I was fertile and I had good egg count. Fast forward, I'm now 43. And I'm at the point where I am not going to not take the chance to have the opportunity to be a mother because I haven't found my unicorn who I can stand. I'm not going to sit with a man in my house every day who I don't love, who I don't care about, who gets on my nerve to a point where I can't take it, who abuses me, who's not anything. Anyway, all that to say, if that doesn't work for some reason, it doesn't happen, and I don't have a child on my own with a man, I will still be okay. And that was the goal. And I'm glad that I'm in there. I will love my nieces and nephews. I will love all y'all kids. I will still travel. I will still have great sex with young men. And I will be the rich auntie everybody.
Rich, already, yes, we do.
That embodies where I think society now and their generation is going now is everybody's chasing happiness, right? Like they want this self-happiness, they want self-worth, they want just find the unicorn, the smiles, their pure happiness. And that's why, like, if you ask me back when I was in high school, you know, cheating's bad. I don't understand people that are separating later on in life. I don't understand open marriages. Now I get it all. I understand it because people are chasing happiness.
And not an ideal.
Right. And not societal pressures anymore. So it all goes back to what's expected of you in your life.
Yeah.
But people are not going with the norms.
You have to think about it. See, that's exactly what I was going to say. Society sculpts what is considered normal.
Right.
So a lot of people, and I'm self-admittedly an idealist. I always have been. You know, if you looked at my room when I was 7 years old, like my entire room was freaking perfect. You know, like my Cabbage Patch Kids were lined up on my hutch, and my Barbies, they were all perfectly set up in the dream house. They were groomed. They had their little itty bitty fork and their itty bitty knife and spoon, and their legs were crossed. And I never played with them. I just wanted to look at them. So I am an idealist. So I do fall into that category of people that had an idea of what I wanted my life to be and created that life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But while I can admit that, I also understand that society sculpts what is perfect, even though nothing is perfect, what is normal. And we're talking about all these other societal pressures, but it's also the societal pressure to be normal.
Yeah, now.
To be normal. And then to speak on anything that's outside of that realm of normal is considered taboo. Hence, open marriages, hence threesomes, hence all of these things that bring a lot of people joy.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Those things
that might not be my lane, but I respect them.
And they're becoming more normalized.
And now they're becoming more normalized because more people are breaking away from the ideal. And especially when you hear Madison talk about her generation and the whole YOLO and whatnot, they're like, listen, I'm here for me. I'm not here for y'all. I'm here for me. Yeah. So now that's where the shift in what's considered normal is happening.
And I see passion within that too. Because they're like, I'm here for me, but I'm not trying to hurt or step on you.
Right.
You know? And you be there for you. And if everybody's just taking care of each other, then no, you know, we're not out here to hurt anybody.
Yes. They're just to give power to that. There just needs to be more of an accepted idea of no judgment.
Right.
We've spent so much of our lives being judgy and being trained to be judgy. You know, like you're at home, you might hear your parents say something judgmental. And it could just be based on something that you're watching on TV, fiction or nonfiction, and they're judgy. So you kind of come up being judgy. You're in high school and you're with your group of friends and they're being judgy about another girl that might be considered a hoe or, you know, whatever else because she's living her best life or whatever. It's just, we're so comfortable in judgment and that kind of has to break in order for people to be what they really want to be, whether it's for you or not. Everybody should just be able to sit back and say, it's not for me, but I respect the hell out of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially if it doesn't friggin' affect you.
That part. You said you were an idealist and you created your life. And that was really something that struck with me. When you say you created, you mean in the way at a young age of like manifestation or just literally planning like, okay, these are the steps I need to get to this next thing. And then
it's a good question.
I'm curious because, you know, it's very big in the culture now, like talking about manifestation. I totally believe in the law of attraction. I've literally watched myself materialize things that I mind to reality. So I'm curious at that young age, beyond Barbies, you said, and my sister kind of talks about that sometimes too, where she designed, you know, she's always had that mindset. What did that really mean for you?
I believed in manifestation and the law of attraction before I ever knew what those things were.
Okay. That's like my sister.
Yeah. I didn't watch or read The Secret or anything like that. Remember when Oprah did the big show on The Secret? And I'm like, hodgepodge. Even after I saw it, I didn't know if I believed in it. For me, it was the fact that I was raised by such strong parents, and they poured into me so much that I believed, whether it was the furthest thing from the truth or spot on the money, it didn't matter. I believed that I was friggin' everything. It's the truth. You know this, right? She's laughing. Maddie's like, yep. I believed the most about myself. You know?
Do you have that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. What? When you just said pour, you pour into your family every single day. I've watched it.
Yeah.
You guys pour into each other every day. I
Every
love
minute.
you. You're amazing. Ichi mommy choo choo. You know that's
Ichi mommy choo choo.
that's the new one for Peyton. That's the new song that goes around the house. But seeing that's a true statement.
Yes, and I do that because that is how I was raised.
Yeah.
I was raised that you are brilliant, you are beautiful, you are kind, you are generous, you are empathetic. You can do anything in this world that you want to do. I've been told that probably before I could speak. And I do that to Peyton. You are God, you sweet little baby.
You do them to
you
all
are
of them.
gonna rule the world. Do you even understand that?
All the Jews.
All the Jews get the same.
All the Jews,
All
they
the
get
Jews.
it.
In like
And-
1 minute, they'll tell you they love you like 20 times.
Yeah.
I love you.
But you don't miss a day. You don't miss
No.
a day. You don't miss
You
a
don't
day
miss a beat
telling.
at all.
And it's because
You
I
don't.
adore these children from 20 to newborn. I adore them. And when you pour into somebody, you inadvertently, you build them up. You build their confidence, you build their self-esteem, and mine was built. So there was nothing in this world that I felt that I would ever want that I would not get.
Mm.
And I didn't even have to articulate it to myself in that way. It's not like I sat there and said to myself in my room, you're going to have everything that you ever want. Love, family, a husband, a career, whatever. I never said these things to myself. Every day was its own day. And every day I made it my business to be my happiness, my happiest, which led to the next day in which I was my happiest. And every day was happy because, and a lot of people I'm sure would disagree with me. I'm certain would disagree with me. But I feel as though if you tap into yourself the right way and if you have the right tools, I don't think everyone can do it. Like I said, was raised a certain way. So I feel like I have the right tools. I decide if I'm going to be happy or not.
That's where you're at.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's going on
That's where
in
you're
my
at.
life. And I'm not saying there aren't overwhelming things that will happen that will ruin your days. I'm not saying that every day of my life has been happy. I've gone through some of the worst things that a person can go through. Yeah. And things that, all of us have experienced.
Which she will talk about in her book.
But personal loss, death, pain, emotional pain, physical pain, relationship stuff. I feel like I've gone through a myriad of emotions. So I'm not saying that every day has been great, but every time that something happened, I decided that it wasn't going to ruin me and that I was going to try to find the best in it. I was going to try to find a lesson. I was going to try to use those things to teach my children something from it. Something. When my mother passed away, Madison and I were able to sit down and go through this whole suitcase of papers and letters and photos and all of these things. And that was an opportunity for Madison and I to bond. So even in you know, during the worst, that was the worst thing that has ever happened to me, was when my mother passed away. But in that was an opportunity to bond with my daughter. Literally, there was joy. We sat there reading letters from her old boyfriends before my father, you know, and I would.
All our moms have those too, by the way.
You know what I mean? And I would say to Madison, you know, like, I'm like, can't you see Mama Norma saying that? And she'd be like, you know what I mean? Because my mom was so strong and independent.
Such a savage.
My mother was such a friggin' savage, you know? So I grew up with that savagery and that optimism and that esteem. Yeah. So because of those things, I inadvertently manifested things for myself. And there's just things that I will not accept. I stand.
And that's a message to the universe.
See?
Like the saying no, when you say no, you can repeatedly say no, no, no. You're telling the universe it's not good enough. Come back.
Right. Yes.
Come back.
But I'm also not wishy-washy. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
You're finite.
I am. Yeah. But I also think a lot before I say anything. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sure. I will sit in silence. There's a lot of power in silence and in observing, because you learn a lot. And a lot of people think that they're above learning. Yeah. And, you know, they're know-it-alls and whatnot. I like to sit back and observe and listen and learn. And then when it's time for me to cultivate my thought, my opinion, then I'll speak. So when I speak, I'm relatively certain about what I'm saying. Not to say that I can't be wrong, and not to say that my mind can't be changed. All I'm saying is that I'm intentional and thoughtful when I share what's going on inside of me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So because of all of these things, I think I've just created a space where I believe that I deserve a certain life, and I won't settle for less. And I don't need someone to give me that life. If that life isn't given to me, I will get it myself. I will go out and get it. You know, I will go out and get it. And that's the thing, you know, for instance, like a lot of people that don't know me, that might just see something, might think that, you know,
you just
like that what?
Maybe a trophy.
You just sit around.
And he just chose you, and you're just a trophy.
And you got
handpicked. Right. Right. You're not the
he
force
picked me out of
are.
every,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But that again, that's that pick me mentality, which sickens me so much. You know what I mean?
Because she said I picked him.
Exactly.
I picked him.
And that's how I feel. People, not just women, you know, you have to tap into your own strength.
Yes.
You have to tap into your own strength, and you really have to believe in yourself. And the reason it kind of gets back to what you were saying before, which is why I was so interested. And when Heather said what she said and making the connection with what you said, it's why don't a lot of women have that strength? It's because they haven't tapped into it. Right. They haven't established their own value, their own worth. They might say it, but they don't friggin' believe it inside.
See, but also, not to cut you off, but to all, you came from that. You were taught that. You had two strong parents that did that for you. Not every woman has that.
I know.
Yeah. You know, and as women, we have parents that love us.
What'd you say? Society tells you the opposite. Society tells you to hate yourself.
At first.
Woman, hate yourself.
Absolutely.
And find somebody to...
That is so strong,
and if
Heather.
you don't love yourself, you better
find somebody to love you.
Yes. Hold on, say it again. Ooh, hold on, say it again.
Society teaches women, particularly women of color, hate yourself. Hate yourself. And if you don't want to hate yourself, you better find somebody to validate you. So if you...
I honest to God have goosebumps.
If you don't have the constant pouring of parents into you, well, that's what I asked you. Do you feel that? And you said, yeah. If you don't have, and you have two and grandparents and friends, if you don't have that, then all you have is society to tell you who you are, what you are. And it is by design to tell you that you ain't shit. Yeah. And if you slightly become shit, it's because somebody else said so.
That's freaking brilliant.
That is.
That is brilliant.
So when we talk about the happiness and the confidence that I have never been this heavy in my life. I have never been this single in my life. I live in an apartment that I used to love that now I have construction all day and there's crackheads. things that stress me out. But I'm still so happy, so comfortable, so confident, still dating men that I feel like are great. Like, when I want to, it's because I got closer to source, to God, to the universe, to whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I am not religious. You won't see me.
Relationship. It's a
every
relationship.
day. That I found myself like literally saying, I love you, Heather. You know what I mean? And I found myself being so constantly and consistently grateful. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. For the dumbest and most minute of things, that the blessings just kept coming. And the number one blessing was just being okay with Heather.
Yo,
And
that right there.
I literally,
That's
if my car and my apartment and my clothes and my job and everything went away, it's just like I've been given the gifts that got me there. And being sick too, when you lose your physical health to a degree, it kind of humble your ass real quick. But it was getting closer to source and whatever you call God. I didn't need church or pastor or none of those things. It's just being okay with yourself. And I really hope that all women and girls and men too, because it's a partnership there, and everybody just becomes okay with themselves and will stop hurting each other so much.
That's a powerful message.
Mm-hmm.
So a very powerful message. Very powerful message.
No, it's just the part, where you said that society teaches us to hate ourselves. Who else said that? Was it Kanye? To hate ourselves and love their wealth. Is that
No, honestly,
it is. Right?
To love ourselves,
and
hate ourselves and love their wealth.
Yes, and it's the standards of everything. The standards of beauty, the standards of expectations of women, and the list goes on and on and on. And that's what it was for me. That literally made me feel something,
So,
when you said that.
I do that with my son.
Yeah.
Even when I pick him up from daycare, I do affirmations.
Yep.
You are strong. You are black. You are handsome.
You have to.
Yeah.
I never got that.
Right.
I have good parents. I never had the mother who told me, don't settle for less. Don't allow yourself to be disrespected. Don't tolerate somebody to talk down on you. He is not good enough for you. I never got that. My mother is a lovely woman, a good, self-sufficient, single, headstrong. She did for 2 kids. She didn't do everything.
She didn't.
And most people can't.
She didn't know.
Most people can't do everything.
She did the best she knew how to do.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother probably gave it to her.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I don't fault her.
Of course
I
not.
am not mad at her. But I have had to learn through friendships, through conversations. Because if there's anybody I talk to and complain to the most is this person here. And there's times that I'm like, I need to give her a break.
She's like, I have 6, 9, 7.
But, I am a different woman today.
You are.
You are.
180.
There you go.
You're soft.
We got 180 more to go.
That's your name, girl.
So more conversation.
You're softer.
Yeah.
And because I am a mother. And I don't mean to make this up.
You're not making it
Not making
anything,
anything.
babes.
From your heart.
I need to teach my son how to treat women.
Yes.
And I never wanted kids. She wasn't lying. Me having children.
We know.
What? Oh God. She couldn't understand. And now that I am a mother, and my son is only 2 years old, and I talk to him, and, he hears it, mama. But I need him to know, because it will be a continuous thing until he can repeat it and he can put it into action.
And he feels that energy.
I need you to know that you are a strong man. You will be financially well off. You will be the president of the United States. You will be great. You will treat women with respect. If you don't want to be with this girl, you are going to tell her.
Yes.
You are going to break up with her.
You will not cheat.
You will not cheat on her. You will not make her feel less than.
It's her fault. You're upset.
It is
You're not happy with her.
right, because it's not her fault that you're not happy. You just found somebody else. It was your circumstance.
We teach by example.
Right.
And by you saying and setting boundaries for yourself, and he understands, okay, this is how the right woman is supposed to be treated. And we learn that with our mothers.
But you know what's also important? Because we all aren't going to have perfect parents. Nobody does. Nobody does. That's why it's so important to have a sense of community in conversation and in sharing our experiences, because the world is so private, you know? So many things are so taboo. People always are so concerned with what they portray. You want to portray a certain thing. But not only is it at a detriment to you, but it's a detriment to people around you that you love that can benefit from the knowledge of the things that you've gone through. There's a sense of community in opening yourself up to others, because they can truly learn from you. And what you didn't get potentially from your mother, you can get from a friend, you can get from a book, you can get from something that you've watched on TV. We're constantly learning and constantly evolving. And that's why it's so important for people to share. That's why it's important for us to have a pajama night. You know, that's why it's important for Rashawn and I to do the podcast. That's why it's important for Rashawn and I to do a book, and for everybody else that writes books or shares in whatever realm it is that they share in. Do you know what I mean? It's important to be open.
Normalizing, right?
Yeah.
So as things become normal, when you share that story, and there's everyone else is like, oh, me too. Then you find that the norm is more that.
That's actually the norm.
Then when it's the norm, then you're like, oh, okay, then we can all heal, really, and stop perpetuating that forward. You know, because the truth is, we're all reacting from our own fears. So we treat each other like, okay, well, I'm gonna play games because he's about to play games, and I'm not gonna call because he's not gonna call. I'm gonna act like I'm not gonna text fast, even though my phone is right
here in my hand.
You know, because we're all perpetuating, moving from our fears of not being accepted, not being validated, not being normal. You know, it's like, weirdo, why didn't you text me right back? You know? No.
Right. You thirsty.
But sometimes you gotta play those games because.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Because
Gia is all about. Listen, one thing we're gonna say: if y'all don't know, Gia is with the shit. Okay, and I'm gonna say that in a way where Ingrid, you.
I know.
Listen. Gia, one thing I'm gonna say is, if you tell Gia a story, she wants to know the whole story.
Detail.
She wants to know every
up
detail.
until but when after he paused, how many breaths did he take? And he said, "What?
Wait, you sat?
Go back.
What color?
Right, yeah.
Wait,
It has
every detail. But one thing she's going to do is do what most women are afraid to do, and I'll just speak for myself, where you just be like, "Well, Gia, you know." No, bitch, you shouldn't go on this trip. Or you shouldn't do that. Well, why not? But I want to. Well, it's going to show something else. Do you want it to relay this message or this message? Well, of course I want it to relay this message, but...
Right.
And the trip sounds nice. You know, or is that what you want for your future? Is that what you're looking for? Are these the things that you want? No. Hey, everything's a no but.
Yeah.
Right? And the same thing it went from you. You know what I'm saying? But she has a way of just making you take a step back and be like,
Big picture.
yeah, big picture. Not only big picture, but like,
Let me reevaluate.
you deserve more.
Let me reevaluate
So
my thought process.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You know, because even a conversation that she and I had, I think it was probably it was after that podcast, right? And I had gone through something and I was on the phone crying. And I just felt so insignificant, you know? And because I think I've been needing somebody to validate me because I didn't love myself enough.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think of myself enough, you know? And she had to tell me, you need to stop. And she was yelling at me. She was yelling at me like,
Yeah?
oh, yeah, no.
Yeah,
she,
people. She does.
never. She was like, you need to stop. And she was getting angry at the fact that I was crying. Why are you crying? This is not your fault. You didn't do nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, because in my head, every action that he did, it was because of a reaction that he was doing because of something I probably ended up doing. Mm-hmm. It was making the excuses.
So you're blaming yourself. Well, one thing
the blaming myself.
You can't manipulate her with bullshit.
And you
right,
and we tried.
So
and we I was like, well, yeah.
So now, I'm a work in progress. Yeah. Not only do I do couples therapy,
awesome.
I do therapy just for myself.
And that's the most important.
Because there's times that I have thoughts and I want to talk about stuff that it don't need to be discussed in front of my significant other because that's for me.
Yeah,
that's for my growth. You know, that's for me and my son. Because I grow, I do better for him. Jason's already made. I can't change him. I can only make us better by communication and trying to figure out how to do things that are gonna benefit each other and the children.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's key. That's key.
Can we talk about the game?
That's what I was about to get to. Because wait, Gia's big on like, well, Gia, texting.
Yeah.
Because it's more so for us.
Get to that.
Because she's not with the games that these men play. And she knows that these games get us to feeling a way where, like you just said, it's our fault. Well, Gia, he probably just didn't call because of X, Y, and Z. Or, she's like, 2 weeks though? Okay. And, you know, she makes you, feel it.
Question yourself.
You be like, but the biggest thing is she makes you tap into, you're teaching someone how to treat you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, they want to play this game, you're going to play this game back. But I don't want to play the game. I just want to be married and have kids and stuff. But he is like, no. So why are you texting back right away? Why do you text back right away if he disappears for 2 weeks? Why are you jumping when he says, let's go do something, and your schedule's busy, but when his schedule's busy...
Because you think he's more important than you.
Okay, well, I wasn't...
I didn't want to go there, but...
They're ready for that.
And she was trying to help you get there without saying that.
It's just the idea that, and I despise the idea that so many women are willing to take whatever it is that they can get.
Mm-hmm. What's that called now? Breadcrumbing.
Breadcrumbs. Yes.
Breadcrumbing.
You just with the birds, and they're just feeding
whatever he flung on the floor.
And I'm hoping it's the bigger piece.
And a lot of women
give me the
it's really expensive and exquisite.
But it was hollow. Brioche.
I can't.
It's
exactly. No, it's a crumb.
This is brioche.
I can't. That honestly. I can't. But you're true right though. It was like, that's the excuse for me. That is my excuse.
But that's the thing, it's just, for a long time, since I was young, I've always tried to figure out why is it that in this world, men are perceived to be more powerful than women? Why is it that the men do the choosing and the women are the chosen? Why is it that women are so often, not all, I'm just speaking about those situations. And if we haven't been that woman ourselves, we've had many friends that have been those women. Why is it that we're always chomping at the bit of what a man is choosing to offer you? It's such a powerless place to be in for women who are otherwise so powerful. So what is it that is stopping women from tapping into their strength? And we can go on and on about the things that contribute to that. So for me, it's about breaking that mentality and not allowing those things to control us and to dictate to us.
I was just going to say that. I said today is Women's Month. March 1st. Yes. Yes.
Oh, look at that. See, I didn't even know that.
Yep.
But, and that, honest to God, it really bothers me. So when any of my friends are like sharing a story or if I'm watching something, it boils my blood. And maybe I didn't even realize I was yelling that day.
He was yelling.
But
You know the day I'm talking about, right?
Yes, now I do. But it upset me because it was that self-deprecating.
She yelled at me like she was my mother. Like it was never, big sister. She was my mother.
She probably got to that point.
Because it's the constant that she had been
crying. She was.
I just felt that you needed to understand and talking to you nicely, and it wasn't working.
It wasn't working.
Reasoning wasn't working. Overstating the obvious wasn't working. Making friggin' sense just wasn't working. It just wasn't working.
We've been taught to take a backseat. We've been taught scarcity. And then there's not enough good men, so that we have to compete with each other, that we have to settle, that we have to fight for affections of someone that is not worthy of us, because we need to get to this thing from this approval from this man. And, it's a very patriarchal system. We've been taught that man is king, and, that it's the mindset up to and including religion will tell you that, this is a man and you're of his rib and created from that. Right. But,
you find that amusing, Will?
Christianity is not the oldest religion. So if you believe that, it's another story to be told. There were women kings, not queens, kings. There were women emperors. If you go back way, way, way back into history, there were women rulers of whole nations and countries. And you have to just, as Gia said, as women, we have to claim our power. We have to teach our daughters. It's a beautiful thing to be loved. It's a beautiful thing to have partnership. It's a beautiful thing to have companionship. And no matter who that comes from, if it's a man or a woman or whatever your preference is, but it can't be such that just because you're a woman, you immediately start lesser. And for us as women of color, everybody here is a woman of color. We have been told even more. There were black women pharaohs. Okay, from, if you want to be technical, all of humanity started in Africa. So, and we're run by Queen Nefertiti and, Cleopatra. And we talk about things like this. So you don't have to play small. And it will come with some pain. And some opposition.
Did you say that you don't have to play small?
You don't have to play small.
There's no beauty to play small.
You don't have to play small. And it will come with some opposition and some struggle, perhaps. But it's so worth it. You know, it just to become happy and accepting of yourself.
Deep.
So,
Deep.
so
Deep.
with that happiness and respecting of yourself, I kind of want to talk about you.
Me?
I want to talk about Benz.
Me?
I want to talk about Will.
That's too much estrogen, too much crying. I am glad I didn't make it, but that's just part one of the ladies' night out. What do you call that? Is it ladies' night? Is it we all cry? Is it I cry, you cry, we cry?
It was like a pajama jammy jam.
Pajama jammy jam. Well,
Girls' night. Call it what you want.
no, that's part one of it. So next week you'll get to part two, and again, I won't be there. Woo-hoo. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the KC Crew.
Toodles.